Hello YouTube friends. This, I hope, is going to be another in the series Sewing for Baby. Agnes is 10 months old now, and I saw this pattern. It's a download pattern. I'll leave all the information in the description below. It's a little, can you see? This is blue, so it's hard to see. It's a little romper suit thing. It's quite cute. It has two versions. It has ones with sleeves and ones with just like a little all-in-one. And so I'm going to, it says it's an easy pattern. I'm not very good at following patterns because I like to sort of wing it a bit sometimes and think, oh, that's no good, I'll do it my way. I'm not very good at patterns. So I've just downloaded the pattern, and my first attempt at cutting it out, well, let's say it went a little bit awry. So I downloaded it again, which meant that I had twice the number of pattern pieces. So I took that as a positive, and I've cut out, this is the size 6 to 12 months, which is quite big, but the seams and everything. So this is a 6 to 12 month size, 2 pattern pieces if you're not having sleeves. Sleeves if you're having sleeves. And what's this? The placket, which is the bit that buttons it together. And there's an option, there's a couple of options. There's an option to have sleeves or no sleeves, but there's also an option to have poppers, gusset poppers, which I haven't ruled those out because they're kind of handy for nappy changing, aren't they? Now, of course, with a pattern like this, there always comes fabric recommendations. But with the big old tidy out that I was doing in my all my clothing, I put a pile of clothing to one side that I thought might be good to use as fabric for other things. Now, I bought this dress ages ago, and because I liked the fabric. But actually the dress itself it feels a little bit like wearing a bin bag. I think on a thinner person it might look really nice, but on me it just looked like, just looked like I hadn't made any effort. But I do like the fabric. And Martha, when Martha saw it, she really liked the fabric as well. I know it's not typical baby fabric, but Agnes is not your typical baby. So I'm going to play around with the pattern pieces now. I cut it out bigger as well, so I can make another one out of something else for when she's a bit older, if they like it, if she likes wearing it, and if Martha and Adam like it. So this is the sleeve here, and of course this has got sleeves, so I'd be able to cut the sleeves out of the sleeves. I mean, this actually might be quite, this might work really well, because look, the sleeve fits on there perfectly. Oh, I think I'm going to like this. Okay, so I'm going to play around for a little bit and see if I can make this placket work for me. And if not, then I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and somehow or other try and work out how to do buttons. I'm not very good at buttons. Buttonholes. I sew buttons on, but can't do buttonholes. Anyway, I'm going to carry on and do this then. And as I get to each stage, I'll bring you along. I think she'll like it. Martha, I mean. It's nice, sort of watercolory sort of pattern, isn't it? Never looked any good on me. I think I wore it once. I'll get back to you in a minute. Well, it's the next day now, and I just carried on. I cut out those pattern pieces that you saw there, and the long thin strip was the binding for the neck. And I carried on, and Norma's just woken up because I'm talking to you. You coming over, Norma? Come and say hi. And I carried on and I finished the little suit here, the little kind of, it's like a baby grow, isn't it? And the sleeves were great because I just used the hem of the dress sleeves, so I didn't have to hem the sleeves, and exactly the same with the bottom. So there was no hemming to do because I just cut it out so that the dress hem and the sleeve hem would hit the right part on the pattern piece. And here it is. Now, my massive failing here, I think I managed to plack it okay. It was a tiny bit fiddly. So lots of pressing and folding and so on, and then the scary bit where you cut it, but it was fine. But always my downfall is buttons. So I'm going to get some poppers. Now I've got some tiny poppers that would go on a much smaller thing, but I haven't got the sort that would go through this thickness. That's 3 thicknesses there. So I'm going to get some poppers so that we can pop that up. I didn't do the gusset in the end. I talked to Martha about that. She's seen it and she likes it. She thinks it's perhaps a tiny bit too big for Agnes just yet, so that's fine. I've got time to get the fastenings there. And I didn't do this, but I think the next one I make, if I make another, if they want me to, I will do the poppers there. It'd be easier if it's a thing to sleep in. It looks a bit pyjama-y to me. And then when I'd finished it, sorry I didn't film any of this, but when I'd finished it, I decided that because it's not lined, this one, it's double gauze and it's not lined. So instead I bound the edges with a lovely grey bias tape here, and I bound all the edges with that so that it'll go through a few washes. And that's that one. It's just waiting for the poppers to come. It was a really nice pattern, that's what I would say about that, and not at all scary. So that's waiting for me to completely finish it with poppers. But it did mean that there was this amount of dress left. Now the little trousers that I've made for Agnes in the past, and I'll leave a link up here somewhere to the these trousers, which is another no, it's not a download, this is a buy it pattern, Wixton baby and toddler harem pants, they're called. And I bought this and made this for Agnes when she was much smaller. I made the 3-month size, I've made the 6-month size, and she wears them a lot. She one particular pair that's made out of that mustard double gauze, which might be the one that I'm linking you to. She wears those a lot. So this is the pattern piece for that one, but this is the 3 to 6 months. And now, as I said to you, Agnes is 10 months. So what I've done now, I've just, the cat sitting on the pattern piece is Norma. So I've drafted off the next size up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if in this I can cobble together enough fabric. I mean, there's a nice big piece there. There's probably enough to make them and do a seam here. I might be able to get 4 bits. I don't know. I'll cut this out and I'll get back to you, and I'll show you if I manage to make another pair of these trousers, which are just really good for being in the garden and you know, crawling about in the grass outside. They're just not posh, you know. They're not. They're workman's trousers, work baby trousers. So I'm going to see now. I'll put those to one side until I get the poppers, and I'll show you those. I'm hopefully on Agnes when I get the poppers and finish those. And now I'm going to have a go at seeing if I can get the pattern pieces I need out of this. If I do, I'll get back to you and show you what they look like. See you in a minute. Well, I've sort of managed it. This is the pattern piece, and I folded it in half, and I placed one of them against the seam in the fabric, and then this one, she's going to have one of those kind of trendy, she's going to be a trendy baby. She's going to have a seam in a weird place. And this is a very, very simple pattern. And every time I've made it before, I've made it lined. But I'm not going to line this one. Instead, I'm going to make them very simply. And I'm going to do bias tape along the edges like I did with the little romper suit thing there. And this is my mum's bias binding. Everything in here is all the bias binding that my mum collected. So I'll be able to find something suitable in there when it comes to binding it. And I'll sit and do that by hand and we'll have a chat. So I'm just going to quickly machine this together now. I think that'll be fine. It's just for knocking around in the garden. And it's a nice fabric. Nobody will mind. No one's going to see it. What did my dad always say years ago? They'll never see it from the top of the bus. Or the other one, a blind man on a galloping horse will never see that. That's the one. A blind man on a galloping horse. Which is not a thing, really, is it? Okay, I'm going to quickly sew this together and we'll get back to you to do some hand stitching. It's taken me about 10 minutes to make these. I've got to the point now where I've got to put the elastic in the top, and it occurred to me halfway through, Norma, that I could have made these as French seams. That would have been a cool thing to do, but I'd already sewn one seam by then, so I'm not going to do French seams. Instead, I'm going to choose some of this bias tape from in here, and I'm going to bias tape the two sides and round the leg hole, which will take I like hand stitching. I've said that about 100 times, and there's in here then there's I mean, I can't ever remember my mum using bias binding for anything. Not for anything. She's got lots of it. So I think, will that one do? It's a bit narrow. I'll keep choosing. I'll find something that'll do. Oh, that's nice. What's that? Bit wider. That'll do. And there's enough. So, Norma, we're going to put some bias binding on. And I could sew the first side on. You know how to do bias binding. I could stitch the first bit on with the sewing machine. But I'm actually going to do it by hand because I like stitching by hand. And I'll trim this back a little as I'm going along. So as I do that then, we'll have a chat. Now, Norma, once again, it's really hard to do this when you're trying to butt my hand. So today is Monday. There's a good needle. Let's put this back a bit so that you can see what I'm doing as well as chat. Maybe. So today's Monday and I've had quite a weekend because my son and his wife, who used to live in Canada, I've been to visit for the weekend. They're back now to live, and they've been here for the weekend, and they've been visiting different family here and there, and I got to spend some of yesterday with them, which was really, really nice, and also some of Friday with them, so I got a double dose. It was really lovely, and they're doing great, and it's nice to have them in the same time zone as me. Norma, this is going to be hard with you sitting there, love. But yeah, so that was really brilliant, and they left this morning. So I'm just going to trim this. I'm not doing it as a tutorial or anything. I'm just doing it while I'm talking to you. So I'm going to trim this back a little bit so that the bias binding will fit over it. This is going to be something she's only going to wear a few times before she grows out of. But it's Martha and Adam have got an allotment, and they spend a lot of time there with Agnes crawling about all over the place. And these are exactly the sort of trousers you don't have to worry too much about. So she can enjoy wearing these. So I'm just trimming this back. Why didn't I do French seams? Oh, what a twit. Okay then, so I'm going to sew this first bit on. I do like hand sewing. I really do. Okay, so let's just get this. You're going to get it the right. Just let me concentrate for a second, because I sewed a bit of this one on yesterday completely the wrong way around. Only an inch. I had to completely unpick. Only an inch though. Right, I just wanted to. Oh, I've got to get a thimble. Just a minute. Back. Okay, so I'm going to sort of back stitch this on along the seam. I'm not doing this as tutorial. I just said that. I'm going to chat to you instead. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about in this beautiful beginning of autumn. All the berries are red, the apples are ripe on the trees. It's all great. It's a bit wet today, but then we're into that sort of wet autumnal kind of weather, which is great. I like autumn. Autumn, September. So over on Patreon, for those of you who know about, you know, my sort of subscription part to the lime green sofa, I have physical rewards. I have different levels of rewards. But what I want to talk to you about is the zine I make. I write it. My daughter-in-law Rita makes it look beautiful, and it's the reward for one of those tiers. Now, we sent the zine to the printers to be printed, and by mistake, they printed twice the number we need. So they admitted it was their mistake. I'm quite happy to, go halves with them on that mistake, but they say it's their mistake. So I now find myself with extra zines. So there are a few more zines than we need. Now, two things. The first one is that in January, Rita and I were talking about this, we're going to offer the few zines and stories, because there's the stories from the Last Homely House Kitchen. We're going to offer those for sale generally in January for people who want to get back issues, or just get maybe one to read, or one or two to complete their collection. And that's going to be in January, by which time the reward tier will be finished, because it's 1 year we're doing this for. But September, when we've got these extras, so Rita and I were talking about this, and we're going to offer a free zine to the first 30 people to sign up to Patreon in September. I'll take all the patrons that have already signed up in September, but if you sign up at any level, right from 1 right up, it doesn't have to be the zine tier, and I will, for the first 30 of you, what I'll do on September the 30th is get all those names and pick out, if there's more than 30, I'll pick out the names, but if it's less than 30, every one of you will get a zine, and I'll pay the postage, and you'll all get September's zine. Now, it's right here beside me, and I could show it to you, but I'm not going to show you September's, because the people who haven't got September's yet, I like to keep the colour and the contents a secret. So I'll get last month's and show you last month. This isn't the one that I'm offering as the prize. The one I'm offering is here. But this is the zine. It's a little A5 MAGA zine that I write and Rita puts together. And it's every month it's got a different, this is the teal zine. And there's an editorial here. And there's always a pet's corner. It's Eileen in this one, the goose. And then every month as well, I do a feature called Meet Kate's Mates. And in, this is August, isn't it? And in August, the Kate's Mates was Lisa, my friend, who's a potter, and her beautiful, beautiful pottery. Then there's all the things that I'm reading, watching, listening to, YouTube watching, in a feature called This Month I Love, and that's all those different things that I love. Then there's always a collage or a collection of pictures in the middle, and this month it's my friend Michelle Kral, who's an amazing artist who I watch every morning. She does a live stream almost every morning, not every morning, but almost every morning. And these are her fabulous, fabulous paintings. And I asked her, and she was very kindly allowed me to use these images. In fact, on the next page, here she is. There's Michelle. And this is the other kind of art she does. Now, I'm showing you this in detail. This is not the one I'm offering as the freebie, but it'll be like this, but it'll be the September one. Bits at the back, which is always to do with the colour theme. And then there's always a picture of somebody reading the zine on the back page. And this time it's Neko, the cat. Sometimes it's a person. So that's Augustine, which I'm not sending, but I have extra copies, 30 extra copies of the zine for September by mistake. There you go. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below, and I'm going to look forward to seeing at the end of September who's going to benefit from having a free zine. Yeah. Thank you, printers. Yeah, so that's good. Now, next of all, there's going to be a shop update, but I'll do a video about that a bit nearer the time. I'll tell you what the shop update is, though. it's Ted's Beautiful Candles for autumn. So I've got the autumn candles, which are all in those beautiful autumnal colours, and we'll give you plenty of notice. If you want to receive notice about when the shop update happens, on the website, again in the description below, there's a newsletter, and Rita sends you, girl Rita, the cat is not so good at typing, I've found. She hasn't got an opposable thumb or anything. But girl Rita will sends out an email once a month to tell you about the latest shop updates and when they're going to be in the shop. So I've got this amount of this fabric left now. This dress looks like nothing on earth. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking there's enough there to make a sort of teddy bear. Just a simple one. I don't, not into sort of big jointed teddy bears or anything, but I might make her some sort of animal or familiar that she can have as well and be completely colour coordinated. So yeah, that's that. What else is there to talk about, guys? That's about it, really. That's about it. Oh yes, I keep thinking of the things that I'm doing with Anna and with Rita and with Martha and John and my kids, and I can't talk about them yet, but there's some lovely information coming soon about the Christmas boxes. I did Christmas boxes last year, and all my clever friends and whoever I collaborated with to put together a Christmas box. And don't worry, they're not Christmas in September. It's too soon to be talking about Christmas, isn't it? So I will. I'll give you plenty of warning about those going in the shop. I think they're going to be nice. I'm also working on the calendar. So for anybody who's got the calendar, I've just turned over the calendar a few days ago for September, and it's all about honey and bees, because September, if I have a really beautiful day, September will be the day that I get the last of the honey off the bees. I haven't taken much. I've only taken one frame this year, but there's a bit more still to take if they'll let me. But you can't go into the bees when it's cold. You've got to wait for a lovely sunny day. So next sunny day, it'll be bee day. Now, on, I can't remember when it was now, Saturday, did I post it? On Saturday, I posted a very curious little video, a little time-lapse video. I just received my delivery of toilet rolls from the company that I like to get them from. It's all in recyclable packaging and no plastic. And also they donate 50% of their proceeds to charities, sustainable woodlands and so on. Anyway, I made a little time-lapse video of me putting my toilet rolls away and put that up. I hope you enjoyed it. It was just a little bit of silliness. I think the thing I liked about that best of all was the music, because I now subscribe to a music provider called Epidemic Sound, which is royalty-free music that I can use. And I tried a few out, and that one, and I think, I don't know, I like the music best of all. But yeah, they're just, it's a fun way to do a mundane thing like toilet paper, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed that. It was just a little bit of a laugh. So I'm going to carry on, guys, and sew this and put the elastic in, and I'll show you at the end what it looks like. This doesn't need buttons or buttonholes. That needs poppers or buttonholes, which I can't do. I can't do buttonholes. It's almost like for me, it's my Achilles heel. I try. I've got a buttonhole feature on the sewing machine, of course, and I try to do it, but I always end up making a bit of a dog's dinner of it. So poppers it's got to be, or even snap fasteners. I mean, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Just ordinary old-fashioned snap poppers or snap fasteners or whatever they're called. I've got some of those somewhere in the cupboard. Okay, I'll let you see what this looks like at the end. And Agnes will have another pair of trousers and a little romper suit thing when I finish it. All out of a dress that I never wore. That's good, isn't it? I'll see you at the end of this. So I've spent a little time sewing and I've made this little pair of baby trousers. I've bound the edges here with bias tape like that. Now let's see what they look like on the right side round. I like them. Okay then, there you are, baby Agnes. You've got a pair of harem pants made out of this fabric. Now, so that's the second. Oh, let's pin it up. So that's the next size up of this Wixton pattern, and that was size 6 to 12 months that I've made there. So they'll do for a while. Now with these little scraps that are left now, I have a plan for a third thing. So I'll see if I can make that as well, and then we'll have a trio of things from this one dress. I'll show you if I manage to make it. So we have the little suit, the little trousers, and now we have the little Scotty dog. I use felt for these bits because this stuff frays really quite spectacularly. So I ironed these two pieces onto interfacing. It's cute, isn't it? So 3 little things I've made for Agnes, but I've also got all of this left. So who knows? I might cook some more ideas up. But I spent a happy hour making that little dog. Okay guys, I'm going to catch you. I'll catch you next time. Check all those links below. There'll be a link to this pattern. I'll link to this pattern and this pattern, so that if you wanted to go and both of those are paid for patterns, but this one's a little free pattern here that I found on Instagram. Not Instagram, I found on Pinterest. Pinterest is a really good place to find patterns. So I just typed in something like free cloth dog or free sewing pattern for dog or something. And there he is. So he can join the menagerie. Check the links then, lots of links. The link to the giveaway over on Patreon for the zine, the link for these, whatever else I can come up with, I'll link it in the description box below. But me and this little dog are going to get acquainted now.